Like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds, or you'll find one of these spiders in your bed tonight. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Fortnite First. In today's news, we have some more beef going down between Tfue and his former teammates Cloakzy and Tom72hours. Tfue and his brand new trio went off in the final game of the trios tourney and ended up qualifying for the grand finals of the FCS. And during the gameplay you're about to see, Tfue had one of his most spectacular games in his career. He dominated every single pro player he ran into. And this game was huge for Tfue because ever since this beef with Tom and Cloak, he's been out to prove that he's better than both of them at the game and didn't need them. And I knew you guys had to see this gameplay. So after you watch the video, let me know in the comments down below. Do you think Cloak and Tom held Tfue back? We'd love to hear from you guys. Congrats to the giveaway winner from the last video. Guys, if you're new here, we give away 1,000 V-Bucks on every single video here at Fortnite First. If you want to win, all you need to do is punch that like button right in the face, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications. Then comment your epic games down below. We also give 3 subscribers every single day here on the channel. So if you guys want to be eligible to receive a free gift from me, make sure you're using code FIRST in the item shop and let me know down in the comments you're doing so. Last but not least, if you're new here, man, please subscribe. We're 1 sub away from 725,000 subscribers. And if you subscribe right now, you'll be a milestone achieving sub. With all that being said, let us know whose team you're on, Team Cloak or Team Tfue, and enjoy the gameplay.
Just a little bit. Shots, very early shots. This suppressed AR, a couple tags there. Posick down to 82 HP.
Yeah, we talk about the person who actually engages first in the trio, brings a lot of heat, right? You'll see the entire other trio Posick fighting right now is probably just reacting to his position and his builds. It gives Clank and Unknown Army so much time to farm and loot up perfectly and then take those side shots and angles to help Posick after he brings down all the heat.
Just around the outside, couple little smacks for just enough to make a build or two. And then from above, they're looking basically for positioning, an opportunity to find even just one shot. Not going to be able to do it just yet. Still trying, basically playing cat and mouse at this point, and there are more players coming in. Kenneth gets beamed. Posick finding one knock, looks for the second, realizes he doesn't have enough builds, has to drop down, but it does not matter. The Archite is also knocked, eliminated, and the ammunition is dealt out there. But Unknown Army, they're down to a 2v1 situation. Clank going for the revives. Posick's going to have to go on defense against Owl, who is just above. So have that last trio to the west starting to rotate in as everybody's bunching up. Kenneth beamed into the ground. Posick finding his 3rd elimination. Still on defense because this next trio is inbound. Posick, defensive position. Enough mats this early in the game. He's going to be able to defend. Has to can up just a little bit, giving Clank and Unknown Army an opportunity to gear up moving into the next room. They have a couple chug splashes. They're going to share those. Pistola, Chandler, and Leak all the way on top of the build. See how this plays out as they are now in a solid 3v3.
Yeah, but the biggest thing as well, Posick's trio has a lot of elimed mats, which means they actually have metal, something that Leak, Chandler, and Pistola cannot find. You'll see that actually being used and actually very important in this fight as well because they're facing TAC SMGs and a lot of spam. Posick being very smart, actually leading with the metal first, making sure he's re-editing and using it as much as possible, being very careful as to when you do re-edit it over and over again, it becomes weaker, weaker, and weaker. The big thing about this fight as well, they own a lot of the shop kind of positioning and mats around them, and it's very hard to break in when there's brick everywhere, right? There are windows blocked off by stairs, which is once again very smart. A nice quick edit through coming in, no shotgun needed. The last shot of his TAC SMG comes through, more metal gain from that elim as well. The loadout counted now being rounded out as well too. We'll see if that's possible. A nice rev coming up as well on Unknown Army. Clank now on the driver's seat.
9,000 IQ holding that edit on the stairs and flipped as soon as the player pushed onto it. Follow through on these shots. Quick little edit. Both players moving through, thinking now's the time. If we're going to trade, we can get at least 1 or 2 knocks. Pistola goes down. Clank trying to find the next shot. Posick at this point down to about 30 HP. Clank on the defensive now. Posick going to go for that revive, pick up their teammate. Clank trying to find a way through here. Doesn't replace the wall. Leak up above. 100 and maybe 5 HP left right there. Yeah, the HP, the shield together. Last one on the team. Pistola still knocked down on the bottom. Finds a tag, but only 12 medium rounds left. This gray heavy AR is probably not going to be enough unless his aim is absolutely insane. Quick note, Benny and Diggy in the feed just picked up a pair of elims. Stars, he gets one of his own, is 81, 79, players now remaining. Pistola eliminated. That one is finished, so it is a 1v3 situation for Leak, and this is the team that pushed in from the west. So they were the aggressor in this situation. Team down below did go on defensive, and it has paid off thus far. Leak down to 34 HP, drops in 6 rounds. He's got to get the thirst just because he had no ammunition left and cannot get it. Posting a big play there inadvertently. Even just putting himself out there to get knocked was enough to give them the elimination on Leak.
The question is, does anyone actually win off of this? Yes, you get the points, but you're in retail, which takes such a long time to loot based off of actually farming obelisks and mats, and zone is not on your side. We're almost at the first zone. Actually, it is moving now, and these guys have to mat up, shield up. You can see the lack of shields and even health on Postic and Unknown. How is the rest of the game going to pan out? Because this is the last game. A lot of people will be playing a little bit more passive.
Got to be frustrating. You know that consistent drops here, if you're uncontested, are huge. Hey, Love, 3 very well-known players across the World Cup. Now here, 14 HP remaining for Ando. He pops these minis. German J-Love gonna have to defend for just a second. The splashes go down, pick up some HP. 3 different angles on this trio that is applying pressure. Ando's gonna try and build up match height with Germ. A little bit of loot sharing there.
One thing I'm actually noticing on Ando's loadout and build, basically, he has an all-or-nothing close-range build. He
100%.
only has that attack to follow up with, and with the pull-out time, you got to be very careful and used to the actual engagement with it. Scoped AR, once again, very unique weapon that people take, but can't really help that much in these fights. The heavy sniper kind of changing into a utility weapon to make sure you have pressure on builds, but then again, smart gameplay. It is game 6, yeah.
This is the calm. Basically, at that point, they were like, nah, we can't fight this. We got to rotate away. Let him just sit in the build. We'll make our move now because we're on the west side of what is left. We can line of sight with the hill and the trees, make our way around, grab shields off the mushroom. This is a very, very smart play. Taking that fight did not guarantee a thing other than you are stuck very close to the edge of the storm. So,
yep.
Honestly, probably the best call at that point.
And then look at the caliber and respect of Leo, which does not get answered back. They also chose to disengage and not try to grief or take beams at their enemies, but they lack the builds to protect themselves because people are still looking for any type of room to take, right? Give Ando an inch, he'll give you a heavy sniper shot.
Quick note, the team that they're pushing in on now, they're very, very close to qualifying. They're in 9th place currently, which means this is a tough spot for them. Team inside, if Leo and gang can find their way out of this, then they'll be okay, but this might be the end of qualifying for them, depending on how RBK handles the situation. To see here, still up on the high ground at this point. The reload, very important. He does have the tack to swap to if somebody pushes out of their box, which, I mean, in the position he's in, he has that catty corner spot. He could watch left and right side of whichever box his opponent's inside. That's big, because if you see somebody come out, you take that quick shot, even a heavy snipe to stop maybe a roof being built, you could follow through with a tack. That being said, swap out is kind of slow, but here we go. The push inside can't quite find a beat until the very last second, and that elimination, the siphon, is actually what stops him from ticking out to the storm.
Yep, find some bandages as well that they can't split apart. 10 actually.
Solid play there. Meanwhile, the southwest corner of the map. We've talked about it before. It is one of the full commit spots. Tfue down here, looking to make a move into the next portion of the safe zone. They're inside already. They want a better position, a more advantageous spot. They have a decent loadout, but Tfue's ammunition pretty low right now. Only 86 medium. I think the hope for an elimination, pick up whatever materials they may have gathered. We'll see here in a second. Taking a couple shots there. Gets tagged himself, though.
Yeah, the big thing about these shields and the utility and the ammo they have at the moment, at least on just Tfue, it seems like all these items are used for those end game kind of smaller zone moments. There is some ammo being split now. The 260 comes right back up. At the same time, chugs and slurps kind of work in a way where the amount of time it takes to pop them, the amount of time they stay in your inventory after using a little bit of them, it's more for end game movement,
100%.
Less for taking shots at people and getting shot back at. It's more about, you know, if my team gets lost in zone, if I take zone damage and I have to move and heal, that's what I want to be using. Taking minis and bigs, that's more on the side of I want to take shots. Heavy snipe's not really worried about it. I can come back up.
Now, I just want to point out one of the more common edits that we've started to see in competitive. Tfue was doing it right there. So you place the pyramid inside your box and edit one of the edges up, and you are able to look out either side. You do basically the opposite corner edit, so it gets an open triangle, and you are so covered right there, it's insane. So that's if you're looking for edits while you're sitting inside boxes to take peeks out, that's a big one to look at. If you missed it, check back in the VOD, see how Tfue is doing that. That's very, very important. But Cloud finding a bead on an opponent, gets that knock. One elimination right now for the trio. Cloud, Snood, Tfue. They won the last game. Moving into the next one already in a great spot. A lot of materials in Snood's inventory as we were looking at them, and that bubble goes down, making a little bit of a move out.
Yeah, but it's really smart from all these shows. What I'm seeing is an actual loadout adaptation to the way games play out. When you're playing open quals, the pump is so nice, the AR is so nice to use because everyone's all the way out. Once again,
this is the edit I'm talking about.
Coming straight in.
A huge edit there. It reduces so much visibility on you inside the box. Plus, you can do exactly what he's doing right here. This little third-person camera peek, you look over the top, and all he has to do is scoot either to the right or stand up, and he's got a bead on whoever is up top. That is huge, literally just for watching angles. So if you're more of a support player in your team, if you're playing trios, make sure you get very, very good at that because you have the opportunity to watch and get tags, which gives your team, you don't have to worry about storm surge. It's a great way to get spotting done. It's fantastic.
Yep, and it's dope that Tfue himself is kind of adapting to just taking smarter peeks with his building. Other players, though, from their loadouts, I'm seeing more attack shotguns because you need repeated shots in the end of the game when it comes to clutching out, and it kind of opens up room for other utility in your inventory. Previously, we had the combat that had a lot of clips in the bullet or in the actual magazine, but at the moment now, that doesn't exist anymore, right? The next best thing is that attack shotgun.
Agreed.
The same thing with the scoped AR. Usually, it's something people just gloss over. They don't really care much about it, but now knowing that so many people play passive in their builds, are so tight on rotating and using mats, that scoped AR is the only way to kind of reach people through medium range.
It's like Dolph on the flyby right there, taking a ton of damage from Tfue. Canada and Fiber. Gonna make a move over now. Still eyes all the way up on top of the mountain. There is a team up there at the top of Polar, and they do find tags and a follow through. Tfue, the elimination. A little bit of a siphon there up to 64. Finds players on the inside of that box just as the window edit comes on through. He's gonna sit inside this pyramid. Pop a slurp. Probably a decent chance to pick up. Here you go, some minis. There are some splashes in the inventory as well. A bit of a loadout swap out here. A lot of stuff sitting on the ground. A solid pickup for this trio.
Yep, that elim might prove a little bit too costly for their health bank account because right now they've had to use 2 slurps, multiple chugs, and are still getting hurt by all these stinks at the moment. Right now, going into late game, once again, you will not have the same amount of options if you don't have the same amount of utility as you have early. And in NA East, you never have time to recycle that much. You never have entire trios going down, as we pointed out before. It's very hard to recycle things on the move.
You do have another very, very solid trio right next door. Ano, Germ, J-Love, not too far away, moving around inside that box. Canada's sitting on 12 RPGs, the 2 shockwaves. Basically bottomless medium ammo, over 1,000 rounds, and enough pump shotgun shells to go around as well. A solid loadout plus basically max builds.
Yeah, but you personally, Lupo, if you have all these options, when are the best times to pull the trigger?
I mean, if in this situation, you're sitting on an RPG already, getting the high ground as we've seen so many times before. And Tfue, I guarantee you, is a big fan of that. So they're going to go for a build-up. You could even go so far as to shockwave towards the next safe zone. We're at the 50-50 now with 35 seconds left. You take the high ground, use that RPG with pressure from your teammates. You're going to start dropping elims left and right.
Yep, the same thing with the minigun as well, right? The more pressure you have.
This is literally the loadout.
Yeah, this is the dream to have. It's just about now making that dream a reality and actually performing and executing properly. We talk about natural low ground redeploy off of launch pads, right? Panda just has to look straight out ahead. The elims come to him. He doesn't have to adjust his aim that much at all, just left and right, not up and down whatsoever. They're so far spaced, so perfect, but sometimes overreaching. Other trios are doing the same thing, looking at where everyone else is too.
Absolutely insane. By the way, Reddit, if you don't have a Shy Wager appreciation thread going just yet, one of the most knowledgeable men I've ever casted with. Absolutely ridiculous. Meanwhile, Slade looking to find a beat up there, gets a knock on route. Very, very big there. Meanwhile, Fuzzy looking back the other direction. Still inside the safe zone. You only have a handful of trios on the outside at this point. Stowe and Panda, everybody in this trio still up, still solid, still very, very healthy. And they have the high ground right now, so they have a chance to beam players on rotation. I think I can see into the future. KBK Plays does get knocked inside the box. Don't know if they'll be able to follow through on that. Are going to apply a little bit of pressure, but the rest of that team is not too far away. Well, another trio moving in there as well. We can see the silhouettes, and I got to say, the density of players inside that build of the immediate west is getting pretty high. It's getting pretty populated in there. At some point, pressure's going to have to come through from somebody.
Yeah, Blue Boy, you're seeing it too. These guys right now, from what I see, just have 2 shockwaves to move about. All the stuff that has to happen for them to have pressure on the server has to be before this next zone moves or while it's moving, because after that, the hardest thing to do is hold height from 5th zone on high ground without any additional supplements in your inventory through utility. So they do have a few shockwaves split, but I don't see a launch pad anywhere at the moment unless there's a hidden one or they're going to be recycling some around them. This is where pressure has to come through. Ghoul taking down Air Ghoul and Cadet on the top left. Their run ends here. We'll check in with the standings after to see where they place. Hopefully they had enough mid-game engagement, put themselves up on top of the leaderboard. But now the zone moves and now decisions must be made. There's no more time to minigun. This is where you have to look out. There's a launch pad coming in first.
The hidden launch pad, as you mentioned earlier. 15 trios remaining. 3 more need to go down that we get in placement points. And keep in mind, this is the final game of this heat, which will determine who qualifies for the finals tomorrow. Stowe, Fuzzy, Panda sitting on 93 points, landing on the tree. Quick little farm up there. Quite a few materials. 92 builds in Stowe's inventory. You have a player, I love seeing this in trios. You have a player that is basically in charge of building and moving the team forward as they tarp out. Meanwhile, Stowe taking the chance to take some shots through a quick little window edit and see if he can find a tag or two. And he does find a tag or two, and Slade pays the price. Big elimination there. Another point for this trio. 14 remaining. 2 more need to go down.
Yeah, this is what's called an excellent path, right? Stowe did pick up a very nice elim very fast, but it would not be possible without the person pathing. Lupo, absolutely right. It's great to see people actually move forward. At the same time, too, right? You talked about player identity and their roles. He's not afraid to go in, right? It's the same thing with his loadout. He doesn't have anything left but that shockwave. He's going to be all-inning anyone. That's why he's lagging behind, because he doesn't want to tunnel vision improperly for his team, sending himself forward. Now we're looking at Canada on the high ground.
As per usual, I'm just going to say it, this is where Tfue lives, sitting all the way up top. I'd like to point out Canada down from 12 RPGs to 2 now, so he's put 10 out. 4 eliminations right now for the trio, and they're going to keep on building forward, staying at the forefront of the zone and looking back. This is a big, big choice. Big shot on the side there, rotating through 54 shield on whoever that was flying past. Canada going to build back up, get that high ground back with his trio, but shoots back. Second to last RPG shot, can't quite connect, but you see there the quick mark, calls out. There are guys in this box. It's Posick, gets found, gets eliminated, continues the move through, and we are down to the top 7 trios.
Yep, retail only gets you so far. The top 7 trios, one of the best ones in the heat at the very tip top of Polar Mountain at the moment. We just saw the lobby go down from about 30 people all the way to 12 because they have to kind of get into each other. Volri going down. Kanata is down on his own. 2 launch pads left, 10 trios or 6 trios left alive with 10 people. Tfue owns everything up top. No one's even trying to contest him at the moment. He's going to be building up, has no ammo in his attack. There's a big beam coming in off of height 2. He goes down. They have lost their advantage. It's just Tfue now. Fiber is down. Kanata gets his life taken away too. 6 elims in total. 1 placement away from getting 3 points. An elim possibility as well. Hard mats all around. Fiber. Arab popping off as well. He could possibly qualify if he got enough points too. Everything's on the line at the moment. Hard mats. The left-hand peak comes through. Arab goes down. We'll see if he gets enough to pop through. Tfue now, the solo molo individual. We'll see if he can come through. No pump. There is actually a pump available at the moment. No tax, so he has an advantage on peak shots. Jalen going straight down. Parpy getting knocked too. The 2-for-1. Tfue is alive all the way at the
He's
top.
All the way
though.
at the top.
The
He's by
heal game on
himself.
Zore isn't enough. He doesn't have mats to build all the way up. Zore has no heals. 3, 2, 1. He wins the game. Tfue positioning, trumping over the clutch moments. Ghosting on the whole lobby. Celebrate with your dance. Zeke, Sundown.